Good afternoon and thank you for joining us. I'm Luke Whitten.
And I'm Ashley Rodriguez. Have you signed up for your affordable health care yet? The deadline for enrollment is about a week away.
Get Covered America is one of the nation's leading healthcare enrollment groups, and they're holding several events around town helping people sign up for insurance. ABC 7's Jerry Nahara is live from one of those locations. Jerry.
Luke, Ashley, you know next week is Valentine's. A lot of people are thinking about their Valentine's Day gifts, but the deadline to enroll for affordable health care is on the 15th. Now, Get Covered America is sitting down with folks and giving them free assistance for those who are thinking of enrolling for the affordable health care. They're here to help answer any questions and also find out how much financial assistance may be available to help people pay for their monthly premiums. Now, here are some important things to remember. You need to bring an ID. It could be a state-issued ID or a passport. You also need to bring a W-2 form or your last 3 paycheck stubs. And if you do have another form of insurance like Medicare or CHIP, you'll want to bring that paperwork in as well. Now, we spoke to Abraham Bones earlier. You just saw him in the video. He only spoke Spanish. He's from Mexico. He tells me he was nervous about coming in, but he says the staff here was very knowledgeable. They helped him out. He walked out of here with insurance. He told me he actually felt a weight lifted off his shoulders knowing that he was insured. Now, Get Covered America will be having 2 more enrollment events tomorrow at Victory Warriors. That's 4601 Hondo Pass from 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock. And on Monday at El Paso Community College in the Northwest Campus, located in the library, that will be from 2 to 7. And the staff here says try to come in before that deadline because the lines are going to be getting long on the 15th. Luke, Ashley, back to you.
Okay, Jerry, good to know. Thank you. Also developing right now, Bruce Jenner was involved in a 3-vehicle crash that killed 1 person in Malibu. The former Olympian, though, was not injured, but there are local reports that as many as 7 people may be hurt. A rescue helicopter landed at Pepperdine University just 2 miles east of the crash to pick up 1 victim. It still is not clear if that person was the one who was declared dead.
After a whirlwind of controversy, NBC News anchor Brian Williams says he is temporarily stepping down from his nightly newscast. Williams recently apologized for falsely saying on the air that he was in a helicopter hit by a rocket-propelled grenade when in Iraq back in 2003. Williams also drew scrutiny over his gripping accounts of Hurricane Katrina about what he saw. In a message sent to NBC News staff, Williams says it has become painfully apparent to him that his actions have made him too much a part of the news. Lester Holt, who anchors weekend editions of NBC's Today and Nightly News, will sit in for Williams in his absence. To Storm Track weather now. Meteorologist Carla Woga's in the Weather Lab with your first forecast. Good afternoon, Carla. Beautiful day outside.
Yes, certainly if you like the warm temperatures, it's been a great start to the weekend. In fact, let's take a look at our almanac. We actually set a high of 78 degrees. We saw a high of 78 degrees. The record was 79. This is from 2009. So not only did we come close to the record, we actually ran 17 degrees above average for this time of year. Current temperatures out there still mid-70s in El Paso, 71 in Deming and in Las Cruces. Silver City coming in at 64 degrees, and we have seen breezy to windy conditions this afternoon. We should stay in the breezy category as we move through the rest of the evening. Now we are tracking warmer days ahead, but we're also tracking our next system that's going to bring us chances for rain and colder air later in the week. So we'll talk about all those details coming up.
Okay, Carla, thank you. Major developments in the battle against ISIS. We're learning more about the 6 people arrested here in the United States, charged with conspiracy and supporting terrorists.
At the same time, the government is trying to find out whether another American hostage held by ISIS is now dead. ABC's Bazi Kanani reports from Washington.
Where is the proof? That's the question echoing from Washington to the Middle East after ISIS claimed its last known American hostage died during coalition airstrikes.
You can't really believe any words out of their mouth at this point.
Militants say 26-year-old Kayla Mueller from Arizona died in this building, destroyed by the Jordanian government. Mueller's family, holding out hope, released a statement overnight addressed directly to ISIS. Quote, "You told us that you treated Kayla as your guest. As your guest, her safety and well-being remains your responsibility." There are new concerns that ISIS is getting help from inside the United States. This week, 6 people arrested, all immigrants from Bosnia, men and women between 26 and 42 years old, all living low-key lives in low-key towns of suburban Chicago, St. Louis, and upstate New York. Authorities say they wired cash and used U.S. mail to send tactical equipment and military clothing to Turkey, which was then smuggled to Syria. Mediha Salkicevic appeared in federal court in Chicago this morning. She stood before the judge wearing an orange jumpsuit and a black hijab, an interpreter helping translate the charges.
Keep an open mind and remember that people are innocent until they're proven guilty.
Neighbors are shocked at the allegations.
It makes you sort of feel less safe knowing that it's a few doors down.
Officials emphasize that the group was not plotting attacks inside the United States. Bazi Kanani, ABC News, Washington.
In the past year alone, at least 20 Americans, including women and teenagers, have been charged with going or attempting to go to Syria and support ISIS. If Mueller's death is confirmed, she would be the 4th American to die in ISIS custody.
Radio Shack is like the Walking Dead of retailers. Earlier this week, the company declared bankruptcy, and it plans to sell more than half of its 4,000 stores. Some of them will stay open and become co-branded with wireless company Sprint. The 1,600 remaining stores will close. That's in addition to the 200 stores that closed last year. According to the Dallas Morning News, several Radio Shacks in El Paso will close too. They are the stores located at 1801 North Zaragoza Drive, the one inside Cielo Vista Mall, the Radio Shack at Sunland Park Plaza, and the one at 10705 Gateway West next to the Walmart at Yarborough. Students, parents, and administrators got together at Irvin High School today to build a garden of hope. The garden will be used to give students with disabilities a chance to work outside the classroom. It's all part of a Biofoods Pathway program. Students will grow vegetables, spices, and even plants used to make soaps.
We have a horticulture program in our biotech program, and so they do some experiments with plants and different things. So they'll also use the garden space, but the garden space primarily here, the Garden of Hope, is for our students with disabilities.
The school is also planning to build a tilapia farm in the summer.
Most 12-year-old boys would play with action figures or video games, but one young man we met with plays with several musical instruments and a soundboard. Coming up, we'll show you how his talent will give him worldwide recognition.
This is the Nun Run.
Nuns on the run, and it's all for a good cause. We'll explain.
The warm temperature is going to continue on your Sunday. Then we're also tracking our next storm system. The details are coming up.
You're watching ABC 7, where news comes first.
It was Robotics Day at UTEP. We're talking about the first LEGO League Championship.
Basically, we're a bunch of middle schoolers and younger students compete against each other, have fun.
FIRST actually stands for Inspiration and Recognition in Science and Technology. That's exactly what the robotics competition does. Teams of 10 must program the robot to score points on a themed playing field. The robot game involves lifting objects and moving them or completing a track.
I'm very impressed with the student, like with their minds. Like there's no end to the creativity here. Like personally, I'm a coach and my students did perfectly in the interview and the presentation and their robot.
UTEP's College of Engineering hosts the robotics competition every year inside Memorial Gym. It's a fun way to get students interested in science, technology, engineering, and math.
Smart kids, right?
Very smart, yeah. A local boy has his eyes set on the record books. Brandon Bailey Johnson hopes to become the youngest professional music producer.
That's right. ABC7's Iris Lopez sat down with Brandon and his mother today. She has more on that story. Hi, Iris.
That's right, Luke, Ashley. Brandon was only 9 years old when he started writing his own songs, and just 3 years later, he is a multi-instrumentalist, a record producer, a singer-songwriter, and now the 12-year-old wants to add a world record holder to that list. Brandon isn't your ordinary 12-year-old. He spends his days in his parents' garage. Of course, they transformed it into a home studio. That's where he's written and composed more than 20 songs, all on his own. He even composed, arranged, produced, and recorded his debut album, My Journey. That debut album will help him to set a Guinness World Record for the world's youngest professional music producer. Back in November, Nancy Johnson, Brandon's mom, started the process of entering her son in the record book. She saw the passion and talent her son had for making music and noticed he was inspiring his peers.
One effect that he does have on young children is they look up to him and they're just amazed. When I say young children, when he performs at elementary schools, and it's inspiring to them to see him as a kid. Hey, you're doing that. I can do something like that. So I thought it would be really neat to share as well.
Now, I asked Brandon what it means to be a world record holder at such a young age. We'll have his answer coming up on ABC7 at 6. Brandon will also have an album release and listening party for My Journey, his debut album, on February 21st at the Pizza Joint in downtown. That is definitely just the start of a great journey.
It sure is.
How impressive.
Yeah, go
Wish I could do
Brandon.
that.
Don't go anywhere. Your storm track weather forecast is coming up. It's going to be gorgeous outside. We'll tell you more. Today was a perfect day for a run, even if you're a nun. Just look at her there. Loretto Academy's annual Nun Run was today. It's sponsored by the senior class as part of their service learning project. The money will benefit the Sisters of Loretto in Pakistan.
The money is just going to be sent to them. It can either be used by school supplies, tables, chairs, pencils, anything that the school needs.
Definitely a good cause, and weather definitely cooperating. Carla, it was so warm today, I actually had to turn on my AC unit. What is going on?
Yeah, it already feels like spring, even though we still have quite a while until winter is over. Now let's take a look at highs this afternoon. 78 in El Paso. We were one shy of the record of 79. 75 was the high in Las Cruces, 73 in TRC, and Ruidoso, even warm out there, 64 for the high. Now here's where we are now here outside the KVIA studios. We're at 73 degrees. Some spots still a little breezy, but notice Farm and Ranch Museum at 74 and those winds at 18 miles per hour out at the War Eagles Museum. Now current wind speeds officially at the airport are at 9 miles per hour. Notice as you head a little bit farther to the west, even in Ruidoso, we are seeing windy conditions out there. The only places where we're seeing gusts as we speak is in Deming, Silver City, and in Ruidoso with the strongest there at 35 miles per hour in the Sacramento Mountains. Now Doppler radar looking absolutely quiet. We are tracking our next system that's going to drop some cold air in our direction and also bring us chances for rain with a Pacific system that is going to come in. So we will remain dry for the next several days, but chances for rain go up to 20% on Wednesday and on Thursday with that system. They drop off by Friday and we dry out by the weekend, and we'll actually start to warm up a little bit. Now the system also bringing us a fairly strong wind. Notice again, next several days not a problem, but then those gusts up to 35 miles per hour late in the day on Wednesday, up to 40 on Thursday. At least that's what it looks like at this point, and then down for Friday and Saturday. So for tonight around the area, temps in the 40s in Sierra Blanca and Van Horn, 45 at the pass, and will stay breezy for the rest of your evening. Then for tomorrow, plenty of sunshine, another warm day. 73 in Sierra Blanca, 73 in Deming as well, and 50s and 60s in the Sacramento Mountains. El Paso, your forecast for tonight, 43 degrees, clear skies, still breezy as we move through the rest of the evening. Then wind will be calmer as we head to tomorrow. 75 expected for the high, so another very warm day. Las Cruces, 39 degrees for you tonight, and tomorrow headed up to a warm 73 degrees. Those winds out of the northwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour, and sunrise just before 7 o'clock. Now here's your 7-day forecast. Will remain in the mid-70s all the way through your Tuesday, but then we start to see those clouds filter in ahead of that system, and there it is. We'll cool off a little bit by Wednesday with a high of 68 degrees. There are your chances for rain along with windy conditions. Cold air continues to make its